Well, hello, studio teacher friends. Welcome to the Beyond Measure podcast, a space for studio music teachers who take our work seriously, but not ourselves. My name is Christina Whitlock. I am your host and self-appointed anytime piano teacher friend. If you have been searching for like-minded teachers who embrace things like humility, curiosity, and the fact that we will never know it all, look no further because you've found them. Welcome to your people. Seriously, some of the best teachers from around the globe have rallied around this show, and we're so glad you're here with us today. So, without further delay, let's get on with the show. Friends, I am back here in the studio all by myself. I would say that I hope you enjoyed the Summertime Conversation series, but I already know you have. So I will say, for someone who has built a podcast around the idea of teacher friendships, it felt really great to actually share some of my teacher friends with you this summer. At the same time, my brain is exploding with new topics of my own, so I'm equally excited to be back in your ears solo. My plan, at least for a little while, is to feature one conversation every month or so, which means I will also be continuing to upload one bonus conversation to the Beyond Measure community on Patreon every month, which I know is going to make my members over there so happy. Before we go any further, let's address your most pressing question. What happened to our theme music? It's true. I have had the same theme music for 180 episodes, and this audience is really committed to that theme music. I know so many of you love it. But because of some changes to my hosting platform, I've had to part ways with that. Well, I could have kept it, actually, but it would have cost me $600 a year, and that is just not in the budget for this little show of mine. So, I know we all loved it, but we take this moment and bid a kind farewell to our beloved theme music of the past, and we say hello to the new theme music composed just for this show by Ukrainian composer Andriy Brinzak. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about something that I am 100% not qualified to discuss, and that is gardening. Now, this does have an important teacher tie-in, I promise. So just humor me here with this analogy, okay? I want to think that I am this nurturing person and all of creation flourishes under my care. But life has taught me that people are my jam and plants are, well, not. Okay, I love flowers. They just make me so happy. But historically, I have not been great at keeping them alive throughout the summer. But even old dogs can learn new tricks, right? So this summer, I am proud to say that the flowers in my yard have done very well. Among other things, I've had some petunias that have just knocked us out. They have been consistently healthy and beautiful and have brought smiles to our faces all season long. Now, those of you who are master gardeners may be chuckling because petunias are not actually very hard to keep alive. There's really just one secret to keeping petunias flourishing, which is this. You have to deadhead them, right? That means you have to consistently pick off the dying flowers so the plant is only sending energy into the flowers that are still living. I have known this for my entire adult life, and yet I have killed I don't even know how many baskets of petunias over the years because I would pick off the dead flowers like once a week or something like that. And friends, that was not enough. I invested in my petunias this year. Every day, sometimes multiple times per day, I was out there searching for the dying blooms that were draining energy from their life source. I was relentless. And just like the experts say, the more dead blooms I plucked off, the more new buds developed. I kid you not, friends, when I say this. I thought of you. Well, I thought of us every single time I found myself out plucking those flowers. Because I found myself thinking about the many things in teacher life and musician life that drain our energy. I thought about how we sabotage ourselves by sending our energy to sources that don't really need it anymore, and how we rob ourselves of new blooms and flourishing lives by trying to maintain too many streams of attention. This process of plucking off old blooms takes a bit of focus, because when you first look at your plant, you're probably going to see one or two obvious blooms to pull. Like they're crispy and brown and so obviously dead. But you also have to look closer at your plant. You have to lift some of the vines and see if there are any dying blooms underneath the beautiful ones. You have to look for those who might not be completely dead yet, but whose prime has clearly passed. Once those blooms begin to droop and shrivel, it's time for them to go, because they are only stealing necessary energy from the up-and-coming blooms that need it. Now, my apologies for anyone who is over my petunia analogy here, but I can't help but think that the music teacher life is full of similar cycles. Because we are a creative people, new opportunities spring up all the time. We're so often told to say no to new commitments, but sometimes the better answer is to say goodbye to something old. So, if you're into visualizations like I am, I would love to encourage you to imagine your life as a big old basket of petunias. Google that if you need a visual. And ask yourself, what aspects of your life are currently in full bloom? Those big, bright, beautiful flowers, what are they in your life? And think about the blooms that have started to fade, the ones who are starting to droop and fold into themselves. Like, is there anything shriveled up and crispy on your vine? I'm pretty sure there might be. Once upon a time, I had a daily journal that prompted me every week to name something that I was going to give up or say no to that week. Now, that might feel a little overkill or certainly intimidating, but I found the practice to be really thought-provoking and challenging. Like, truly, I hated it at first, but I actually grew to look forward to that practice of naming something to put down every 7 days. It was really freeing. As I discussed with Vanessa Cornett last week, we all struggle with feeling rewarded for our busyness, right? And as we sit on the cusp of a new school year, it's just really on my heart to remind you to guard your energy wisely, my friends. We often begin this back to school season like a beautifully bloomed petunia. We have systems and inspiration and energy for all the things, but that's not sustainable as the year progresses. The holidays approach, the winter sets in, and the craziness of springtime looms ahead in the distance. If we do not pluck off our dead ends, the things that are not serving us anymore, we end up using our valuable energy in places that it is no longer needed. And not only is that a waste of energy, but it also means the areas of our life that need more of it are not going to get enough. So I want you to think about the things that drain your energy. Like off the top of my head, I'm thinking about things like this. Studio parents whose vision for lessons is clearly out of alignment with yours. The gig you keep saying yes to because you don't think anyone else will do it. What about a sour taste that's left in your mouth by one family that burned you? Agreeing to lessons at times that are grossly inconvenient for you? Disorganized spaces, lack of boundaries, unreasonable expectations for your domestic life, like laundry, vacuuming, whatever. Unreasonable expectations for those you share your studio with, like other teachers or family members. And of course, let's not forget, a lot of that draining energy is a result of unreasonable expectations we have for ourselves. Seeing as how we are all basically professional overcommitters, it's easy to dismiss little annoyances and inconveniences in the name of powering through. And, it's not so bad. It's only this one little thing. But I promise you, friends, getting rid of the things that are draining your energy really matters. I can all but promise you that there are things you are holding on to in your teacher life, whether that's responsibilities or expectations, or even things that you used to do in the name of fun that are not blooming anymore. Know what I mean? Maybe they used to be beautiful. They used to make good use of your energy, but now they are officially shriveling up. Some of those blooms are dead and crispy and do need to go. Is this all too deep? I hope not. But how about this one as a stark contrast? Like many of you, I am forever reminding my students that they need to practice their pieces in small, focused chunks. One of the reasons this is important is because our brains are always processing things that we do not realize. So intentionally setting the goal of playing one single phrase allows more of our mental energy to go into that one phrase. It's different than trying to focus on that one single phrase while we run through the entire page, right? Because even in the moment when you play that one phrase, there are parts of your brain that are already processing the things that are coming next. This is why so many of us love our sticky notes, right? We focus our students' attention to problem areas by visually segmenting their music into clearly defined start here, stop here. And it works because the brain is not secretly working ahead. All of the attention is being given to that one single passage. No wasted energy, right? I'm telling you, friends, our teacher brains are no different. There are so many things that our brain works through that we are not even aware of. It's why we have to be diligent to prune the things in our life that are no longer working for us. And just like I used to try to only prune my petunias once a week or so, it turns out that regular maintenance becomes really important in this process. So, friends, I think it's time for us to do an energy audit of sorts. I want you to heighten your awareness of where your thoughts go this week, okay? Are you spending time arguing with someone specific inside of your head? Are you irritated over that thing you read on social media and you just stew on responses that you would post if you could? Are you dreading a particular lesson or parent interaction? Are you anxious about a rehearsal or an evaluation? And don't only pay attention to the negatives. What makes you feel excited about your life? What makes you feel like you know what you're doing? What makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside? Hear me. Don't worry about plucking any of those dead ends this week. That's too much too soon. Instead, just observe your thoughts and your energy this week, okay? That's your homework. Maybe even keep a list. Then you can use those observations to help fuel future decisions and maybe future pruning. All right, while you mull that one over, allow me to recap the highlights of today's thoughts with a small toast. Got your glasses ready? Studio teacher friends from all around the world, today we make a collective vow to be more aware of where our energies are going. May we be open to saying hello to new opportunities just as much as we consider saying goodbye to those that no longer benefit from our energy. Let's all remember our teacher energy is a limited resource, and every time we spread ourselves thin, it means we risk depriving other things of the energy they need. So, cheers to keeping our petunias in full bloom, my friends. Hear, hear. That's a wrap for today, my friends. Remember, this show is brought to you ad-free because of the generous support of my Beyond Measure community. Visit ChristinaWhitlock.com/community for more information on how you can join and learn alongside teachers from around the globe. That's ChristinaWhitlock.com/community for more information. Thanks again for listening today. You truly are the best internet friends a piano teacher could ever ask for. Keep working your own unique brand of teacher magic, my friends. It is so needed in our world today. Until next week, let's continue onward and upward.